up, and y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're taking a look at some more anime news and film reviews, anime news, reviews, a series review, and a game review. Have all had a big upgrade on the channel right now, and a lot of you have been saying that these videos would do a lot better if they had a script. I've already upgraded them to make them longer and to be more in-depth, but I don't like the idea of a script, because that means I have to write notes when I'm watching the film, and that takes away from me watching the film and just enjoying the film for what it is, and then being more of a critic towards the film, because I much prefer being a critic after watching the film, where I can look back at the film and be like, right, this bit was good, I enjoyed this bit, this is what I felt, because if I am sat writing all the notes down, I won't be focused fully on the film and I won't be enjoying it as much, and I'll miss a few key things with writing stuff down. And again, I just want to give my raw, quick-fire thoughts of the film afterwards, so then I don't spoil too much of the film, and I don't give away the whole film, so then it gives you an opportunity to go and watch it for yourself, and that's much more what I prefer. I might try writing a script for future videos and seeing how that actually turns out and works, but for now, I'm just giving my raw thoughts and opinions on the movie. So, this is the Black Clover movie that came out on Netflix. It came out July or June 26th, I do believe, and I finally got around to watching it today. I have literally just come off watching it, and I am so hyped. Black Clover is one of the few animes that I started me off into anime, and it just gets my hype for anime going. It's just so cool, and it's a world where magic is everything. Asta, a boy who was born with no magic, aims to become the Wizard King, to overcome adversity, prove his power, and keep his oath with his friends. So, unlike other anime movies, this one gives everyone a time to shine. Every member of the Black Bulls has the time to shine. Every captain has their time to shine. Even the villains have their time to shine. And with some other anime films, not everyone gets their time to shine, like the first My Hero film, like the third My Hero film, and some other anime films that I've seen don't give all their characters time to shine. It is just the core three. And obviously, Black Clover still does that. Like, it still does focus on Noelle, Asta, the main three. They all get their majority screen time. But it still gives other characters like Look, Magna being my favorite two, some decent moments and some really cool moments to prove their worth and to show them why they're still part of the team, and obviously still good, still relevant to the sort of film, and it gives them a good plot point, and it gives time to focus on other characters than the main three, because Black Clover does have a huge cast. I can see this being hard to do, but they did it so well. Like, everyone's favorite characters got their own time to shine, and I love that. Like, especially Look and Magna being my favorites. They had some epic moments fighting together. They even got the Black Clover base moving in like a giant spaceship war. It was really cool. They even brought back some old Wizard Kings as the main villains, so it did bring a lot of threat, with obviously the Wizard Kings being some of the most powerful beings in Black Clover. Having the previous 4 Wizard Kings being the main villains, it did bring a power imbalance, and it did bring like a lot of threat and danger to the sort of world of Black Clover, the Clover Kingdom. And it's not like, it was an Avengers level threat. I'm going to say that. It was an Avengers level threat, and they handled it so well. Like most anime movies, it's a little threat, it's a small scale threat, it's nothing to do with the main story. This does tie into the main story, and it ties in quite well. I haven't watched Black Clover in the past 2 years, so I don't remember really where the story left off. I think it was somewhere with Black Clover, with Asta finding his new demon in his sword and actually making a bond with his demon, and that does show through this film. And it starts off excellent as well, because it doesn't waste any time. There is no filler in this film. Every second of this 2-hour film is used well and used correctly to progress the story. There is no sort of time wasting, there's no nothing. The pacing is excellent. We start off in a Colosseum, which is the main set for the movie, and we have all the characters being introduced, all the villains being introduced, and it's straight to the threat, straight to the action. It sets the theme for the whole movie of, right, there is a more powerful character than the Wizard King. There's more powerful characters than the captains. There is a power imbalance. Everyone's here, and they're all getting their asses kicked. So, sending them off to, get better. They don't train, but obviously Asta shouts, Asta does all his yelling, and the voice acting is really good. Like, I love the voice cast and the actors for this franchise or series, whatever you want to call it. I watch it dubbed, by the way. I know if you're a fan of the channel, I've watched a couple of other these videos. You know that I do watch dubbed because I do struggle to read. People do say I'm dyslexic, but I haven't been fully tested. So, I don't know, I just struggle with reading. But the visuals are so cool. The bright colors, the power sets, and just the fight scenes, which there is a lot of. I will give it that. There is so many fight scenes in this series, and there is so many fight scenes in this film alone, but it doesn't take away from the story. It isn't just action for the sake of action, it's justifiable action. With there being 4 main villains, it does split up our gang into 4 main parties. We have Yuno and 3 captains fighting the Purple Wizard King. We have the Black Bulls, minus Captain Yami and Asta, fighting the Ice Wizard King. We have the Fire Girl Captain fighting the Army Pink Red Wizard King. And then we have Asta fighting the main villain, being the Key Wizard King. Sorry, I do forget their names, but I'm just explaining them a little bit. My favorite villain was definitely the purple one, the one that could make force fields. I loved his voice, I loved his voice acting, and I liked his power. It was so cool. And each of the 4 villains, they did have a character arc. They did turn to the good side. And each one of their, final battles, it did bring out the best in them. And we did see where a few of them did snap and go crazy and, start to unleash everything and just go all out. Because, some of them did snap and go psycho for, a little bit before they were beaten. But the Army Wizard King, she sort of connected with her rival, and she didn't feel as alone. She had a good match and she enjoyed it. She enjoyed her life. And then the Ice King, he was pretty honored to be fighting against these Black Bulls. He was honored that Noelle sort of gave him an option to be good, gave him an option to join them. He liked that. He saw that they were worthy, and he knew that the Clover Kingdom was in good hands. And then the shield one, the sort of, I don't know, border, I forgot what he was, border, no, it was defense magic. He had shields and force fields and stuff like that. And it's all new magic that we haven't seen before, and it was just so cool. This key magic with the main villain, it was just so cool. And I do think the sort of, the defense one, the purple one, does look like Shinzo from My Hero, but he was my favorite, and he did start growing crystals all over his body because of how much injuries he was taking during the fight, but he was still going, and he did go absolutely psycho at one point. And going back to a couple of the other characters, 3 characters went into God mode in this. We had the main villain, who took on Luffy and Goku's sort of hair. He went with white smoky hair and a little bit of gold, so he took on their hair, and he sort of went Kevin 11 and had absorbed all the powers. He had a fire arm, an ice arm, and he was using a sword. He had wings, and he was basically just God mode, having every single power because he could absorb other people's powers, and that was so cool. And basically his plan was to reset the world, reset the Clover Kingdom, and make it so everyone is equal. And he had the same sort of catchphrase is Asta, which is, my magic is that I never give up. And that really connected him with Asta, and he felt pity to Asta, he felt a connection with Asta that Asta did not return because of his ideals and his views. Also, Asta is a meathead. He didn't understand the plan, he just knew that it was a bad plan and that he had to beat them. So it did have the core characters still there. Asta still hasn't changed. He's obviously not the brightest, but he's the strongest, and he is really cool. I do recommend you go watch this film. It is on Netflix right now. Go watch it. It's great. They have sub and dub, so get over there. Get over to Netflix and watch it. It is 2 hours, but it can easily be done, easily be watched. I did it, and I am so hyped. It had the emotional roller coaster going, because we had the lows where Asta was beaten to a pulp. We had the highs where they were winning, and it was like a roller coaster final battle because the tides just kept turning. There was plot twists here and there. The tides of like the heroes winning, then the villains like, oh, we got another trick up our sleeve. We're actually stronger. We're going easy on you because we're Wizard Kings. And I know that, with the power of friendship, we can win is pretty basic, and that is how they did end up winning in the end. And I don't really like it when, they all give Asta their power because of friendship. But that's how they won in the end. So that brought it down, in my opinion. I liked it when they all had their own key parts and they all helped in with the fighting and didn't just power Asta. Powering Asta isn't really giving anything, of value for that character, because everyone was giving their power to Asta. Even, the characters specifically made for this movie, the side characters, some background characters. So it doesn't really provide any decent character development or purpose, because everyone is doing it. Whereas if we had all the Black Balls fighting together and each one doing their own part, that is more meaningful and more impactful of a win than just, Asta, have my magic, have my mana. It's just better. I think the only issue that I had with the pacing of this film was the very end. It ended quickly, it ended snappy. It was just I'm gonna be the Wizard King, boof, end. We won, we had one conversation, over. Normally we have a celebration, a party, we win, let's go. But no, they were just pretty much still on the battlefield, all injured, just looking at the Wizard King saying, I'm going to be the next Wizard King, and then it was over. There was no, nothing. There was no consolidation, no, final ending to it. It was just over in a flash. But I did like the film. Other than that, the pacing was excellent. We had all the characters being meaningful, all the characters getting their own time, getting their own conversations in. Everyone was used to the best of their ability, and I liked that, and I think that's what the film had going for it the most. The animation did have its questionable points. With Black Clover in its past, we do know it's not the best for animation styles, but when there was a big impact or a big hit, it did go to classic black and white drawn, and I liked that. I thought that was a cool style choice, and not many others use that style choice, so I think it's unique to them, and I thought it was really cool. But there was really good fight scenes and power sequences with them charging it up, lightning strikes going here, there, and everywhere. Just look at this shot here on screen. That is such a perfect shot of Asta getting the power from his demon, which does have consequences to come up later. It does have a repercussion, because when he did get the power from the demon, he was saying he would take his payment in full at a later point. So that will have consequences in the series. Here he is here, getting everyone's power in this blue curse mark that he seems to be. I don't know, it's some curse, but it looks like the curse from Jujutsu Kaisen, if I'm being honest. But Asta did start losing at one point, and it did get me in the holy shit, we're gonna lose, come on. It got me hyped, it got me excited, it got me scared and worried. It did make me cry, it did not make me sad. There was no sadness in this film. It was just concern, fear, adrenaline rush, let's go, we can do this, come on. With anime, it hypes me up so much, and I don't know why. after seeing like a really good fight of them flying around, slashing things, beating things, winning with their impactful speeches of like, we can do it, we can train, we can do everything. I remember watching this series like 2 years ago when I first started getting into anime, and I literally watched Black Clover whilst training. I would do exercises whilst watching it because I wanted to be like Esther. I wanted to be buff and strong and prove that I was worthy. But other than that, it is an excellent series. I love it. But this movie just, it brings out the best in Black Clover. Rewatchability, though, I'm not too sure about. But everything else about it is chef kiss. I am going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I absolutely love this. So definitely go watch it. I cannot praise it enough. It is getting an 8 out of 10 because, again, it does have its flaws that I mentioned. But I'm not talking too much else about it because I want you to go watch it for yourself. So then we get another Black Clover movie or series. So go.